Often depicted as a colossal sea monster with a back covered in heather and other vegetation, making it look like a small island or submerged rock. Yeah.
It's like that the turtle from Neverending Story.
Oh yeah. Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, really?
I didn't even know that was in there. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mysterious Pals. My name is Chris, and I'm here with the greatest guy who I've ever known.
That's nice. Thanks, man.
And his name is Jordan.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am well, Chris. How are you?
Great. Thanks for being here.
Sure.
I love that blue shirt. Brings out the blue in your eyes. Your eyes are brown.
Eyes are brown, yeah.
Anyway, Jordan, this week is the start of a series we're going to call it. We'll call it a series.
Okay.
The Summer of Sea Monsters here on the Mysterious Pals.
I like it.
We need to have like lightning or something, but like go on like lightning and like
crashing wave noises.
Yeah. The Summer of Sea Monsters is here.
Was that your nickname, Sea Monster?
Sea hyphen monster. Yeah. I don't know who called me that, but
I think you did.
Yeah, just me. Anyway, how was your week?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
So hot around here.
So very hot.
Yeah, summer does that to you.
I like that the fireflies are out. Enjoy that.
Yeah, we talked about this before. They're okay.
I just think it's fascinating that an animal can just produce light.
Yeah.
Weird. Body.
We did that too. Oh, okay. Humans did that too. I don't know. Yeah, that is a weird thing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Chemical reactions are crazy.
Yeah.
We talked last week about barfing fire in the last episode. You know, the Jack Heel Jumpy, what is his name?
Jack Heel Jumpy.
What was that guy's name?
Oh, crap.
Jack Heeled Floppies, heel
Spring Heeled Jack.
Spring Heeled Jack.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, last episode, Spring Heeled Jack. But since it's been so hot around here, we've decided to cool it down.
Ooh, yeah.
Nothing's cooler than sitting at the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hot on the beach. For me, I'm not really a big fan of the beach.
No,
it's too hot.
I can't just. I like the beach. I can't just sit in the sand. I need to go like in the water.
Yeah, but then it's like going in the water and you gotta do
hang out,
and then you go back and live on the beach. It's like it's such a boring rotation, and I'm not good at relaxing.
Yeah,
that's just boring for me. But I do like getting hit with waves.
Body surfing's fun.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And then you're full of sand. Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sand,
I can't just sit there and like lay in the sun. It drives me nuts.
I wish the beach was like concrete. I guess that would just be a pool, like a wave pool. Because sand.
Massive wave pool.
I hate sand.
Of course.
Yeah. So, in any case, we're going to talk about sea monsters for the next couple episodes, maybe more, maybe less. We're not really sure. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
And we want to focus the next couple episodes on sea monsters. Have you ever seen a sea monster?
Nope.
Do you believe in sea monsters?
There's definitely some things down below that I say we, not me. I mean, like scientists haven't seen yet because like
it's tough to get down there.
Yeah. Because the
pressure
thing.
It's hard to get down there. It seems like also if you want to investigate the oceans, like you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
It just seems like hell. Space seems like hell as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at least in space, there's probably a lot more to see. I don't know, actually.
I don't know.
It's more interesting to me. Okay. The ocean, I'm not like, what's on there? Gooey things? Do you think the bottom of the ocean is just like a littered with like dead stuff? Like dead animals and stuff?
For sure, yeah.
I heard I don't know if this is an urban legend. We talked about urban legends last week again. But that like container ships, you know, the big container ships, there's just like container ships like that drop boxes all the time, like containers like every once in a while, and they're just like in the bottom of the ocean. They just don't bother getting like, so there's a story going around like It's on the internet. Who knows if it's real? But of course, like a container ship like dropped like an entire container of like PS5s, and they're just at the bottom of the ocean, like that type of stuff. Like there's just
I remember hearing about that. There was also one like container ship drop a bunch of Legos. Occasionally, like there's a beach that like Legos will just wash ashore.
Yeah. But I mean, if they're in a container, they're just gonna float to the bottom, and so like it's like dead whales, dead fish, dead things, containers, like gross.
Do you think the containers could handle that pressure down there? Other parts of the ocean?
Maybe. I mean, they're probably, depending where they're getting dropped, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably getting crushed. There's also probably packed so tight. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Great question.
There's got to be something. I mean, there has to be, because then we just, not we, again, I didn't do this, but humans just find like that there are actual like massive squids.
Giant squids are supposedly. Yeah, they found proof of it, but.
Yeah. But I remember, like, they all thought, like, that's a thing, but then, like, it was, like, caught on camera, and I was like, oh, crap.
I think it's just really hard to film down there as well as get down there. Yeah. So it's like, and also it seems like every time someone, like, films something underwater, it's like, oh, it's too dusty, the dirt got, you know, so, like, I don't know.
I know.
It seems like hell.
There's a movie I haven't seen in a long time. I remember liking. James Cameron did it. It's called The Abyss.
Nope, never seen it.
Where like apparently aliens are living underwater.
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of a neat premise.
They would say like those drones and stuff people are seeing.
Yeah,
like
those, they dive into the ocean and stuff like that.
I mean, probably.
Never know.
It could be.
But there's things down there I would imagine that probably do look like aliens.
I mean, if you're gonna hide on Earth, that's gonna be a place to hide.
Yeah, because we can't get down there.
Right, and we could get down there, it's just not really. Doesn't seem a priority for some people, but also it's really difficult.
Yeah, right.
What are we gonna do down there? Probably just ruin more things by going down there. You know.
Yeah.
Would you rather, if you had the chance, you had to go
in the ocean or space?
Yeah.
Space.
Okay, me too.
Same. I just saw that the
if you either live in an underwater city or a city on Mars, what would you pick? And we're like saying you're gonna live there to your death.
Maybe an underwater city.
Think?
Yeah. Not cool.
I mean, it's more likely than to just drop some food down there if you run out of food and stuff. Yeah.
Like Sea Lab.
Yeah. Or BioShock, that game.
Oh yeah, BioShock. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be, well, I don't know. So live on the moon. We'll say live on the moon or live in the bottom of the ocean. Yeah. Because I mean, at least they can get stuff there. Something goes down.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do it in the ocean too, but it seems like if stuff goes wrong in the ocean. I mean, I guess you're screwed both places. If something goes wrong on the moon, you're also screwed.
Yeah. Seems kind of like a lose-lose either way.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna die. What type of, you want to be crushed or sucked apart, you know, like ripped apart. We talked last episode about, there was a question I posed to you about like if someone went back in time and was like inside of something, a tree or something.
Yeah.
What if like inside like a whale? Like you go back in time and you're inside a whale.
Like Jonah?
Yeah, would you be stuck in there, you think? I mean, maybe you could press a button. Do you think people could actually live inside a whale? Not like live in there, but you think you'd be like in there for a while, be like, whoa.
And if it's like
whales are big.
They're huge. Like a blue whale, that's like the dinosaur level thing, man. Like size.
I mean, it's bigger than dinosaurs.
It's crazy. I have like I like the ocean.
Sure.
Like going on the beach.
I don't want to know what's
like,
on there.
I would be terrified. Be stranded at like sea. One, because like you're gonna die, but like knowing something that big's underneath me would just terrifies me. I've done like boat rides out in like big bodies of water.
We're talking about the ocean or like a big lake?
Ocean.
Okay.
And a lake. I didn't mind that so much, but I was stuck in like a raft, or I was alone.
Yeah, if you're on a raft, hell no.
I don't know how people like, I don't know.
I mean, people have to do it, obviously. Yeah. We have to, when we're in that position, you know, I don't know, being stuck at sea.
People that like fled Cuba or Cuba to like come here, I'm just like, man, you're.
That's, or like, I mean, we hear
about like a 50-50 thing, I feel like, if you're going to make it or not.
Especially when there's like a ton of them on the boat and the boat capsizes. Like we've seen it, like it's happened like I think like in Europe recently, like Mediterranean stuff.
Oh, yeah.
People fleeing different countries. But like, oh my God. That's like crazy.
It's going to be really bad to be like, okay, I'm going to risk my life going
with all these other people. Maybe just be like, hey, how about like 10 of us go and the rest of us, stay over there. Yeah. Like get more rafts or something. It's just, that's so crazy.
Go back to the whale thing. I feel like if it swallowed you whole.
Yes.
I feel like you might survive. Maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't like. Were the stomach acids from like the...
Oh. Would he crush it with his tongue on the roof of his mouth? Like, because they don't have teeth. They usually eat like krill, like those small little things.
Yeah.
That'd be hell. That would just be the worst.
Be horrible. I feel he'd be slow.
Well, I mean, he might just spit you back out.
Yeah.
I think there was a video I saw on the internet of a guy getting basically, he got sucked into a whale's mouth and the whale just spit him back out because he was like, I can't eat this. I don't have any teeth. Gum this guy up, like
gum it up. Smack.
I would hope that I would get shot out of this blowhole like up in the air, like Finding Nemo style. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or I'd probably get stuck halfway through. My head would just stick out. Like, come on,
push harder.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun for a second, and you're just like back in the ocean, and you're like, oh well, I don't have any transportation now.
Yeah, and the whale's gone. It's like,
you're
peace.
just like, well,
yeah, please. I don't know. If you were stranded on an island, desert island, or like in the middle of the ocean on a boat.
Oh, desert island.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least like I could
try to survive.
Yeah, be in somewhat control of the situation. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. Try and do like a castaway thing, learn how to spearfish.
Did you ever see that? Did you remember that island? It's like Island of Snakes or something. Where there's like someone like throughout history brought like a bunch of like really poisonous snakes there, and they had no enemies, so they're just still there.
I know there's an island of cats.
This island was like supposedly it was in a show. Okay, I guess treasure hunting show, and it's like Island of Snakes something. But it's like super dangerous. And like they're all poisonous snakes.
Do they release them to try and kill them, or release them trying to kill something else on there?
No, they just like back in the 1600s, people brought a bunch of snakes there.
Oh, why?
And then Snake Island. It's actually called Snake Island. It's in Brazil.
But why would they bring those snakes there? Get rid of them? Like we didn't want these snakes. Was it the Pied Piper that did it?
It might have been like one or two snakes got put there, and then they just multiplied. It's the name Snake Island is administered. Blah blah blah.
It's part of Brazil.
It's part of Brazil. Yes, it has a pit viper. Is there? It's like one of the very venomous snake. Just eats birds. The snakes became trapped on the island thousands of years ago, following the end of the last ice age. Okay.
Oh, they became trapped there.
Yeah. So they were able to travel there when the ocean was lower, and then then they got disconnected. They just got stuck there. Because I guess that would have been in Brazil, like in the rainforest.
How big of an island is this?
Great question. It's 21 miles off the coast. It is 4.6 million square feet.
That's big.
Yeah, it has a. Do you
think people live there?
No, it's just uninhabited.
Dang. World's weird place.
It's it's just a bunch of snakes.
Yeah. I just thought maybe there'd be like some guys just like, I'm gonna live on Snake Island.
The deforestation, blah, blah, blah. Locals attempted to clear the island for a banana plantation on the island by burning.
Died.
A lighthouse was constructed in 1909. The last humans inhabitants left the island when the lighthouse was automated. So, okay.
That'd be the worst lighthouse job.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Manning a lighthouse sounds terrible, but like having done
Snake
Island would be awful. You're alone. You're alone with snakes.
The island was previously thought to have a population of 430,000 snakes.
Do you think anything even like else lives on an island? I'm sure there's like bugs and
birds
stuff.
And stuff get killed. They just get eaten by the snakes. Anyway, we're not. It's in the ocean, so I guess part of the sea.
There we go.
The summer of sea monsters.
Look at that segue.
Yeah, here we go. We're gonna talk about something in the ocean as well. Maybe. Could be in the ocean. Maybe. Hopefully. One time, maybe.
I do find the sea creature thing fascinating. The krakens and stuff like that. Like those old maps, you'll see like it'll be like a random like dragon on the map. Like, why is that there? Why is that there? Or a Leviathan or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's rad. Yeah, I would.
Is that for aesthetic reasons or just like don't go to this spot because there's a massive
I don't know, maybe, or was just a guy just bored because he was sitting on a boat, that type of thing. But like, we talked about mermaids in the last episode, and that was a worldwide thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these sea monsters,
sirens too.
Yeah, and a lot of the sea monsters we're going to talk about is going to be, the ones that I'm talking about today in this episode is just specifically from Viking lore and Icelandic folklore.
Like the world eater thing, Jortmunder, that like thing that like the world serpent.
Oh, the world serpent.
That is.
He's a serpent. He's not a sea monster.
He lives in the water.
Thank you for trying.
He lives in the water.
Hey, does he?
Yeah. Thor has to fight him.
Okay.
I think it brings about Ragnarok. I don't know, man. That's what I thought. Sorry, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, what do you got?
Now I just ruined everything. All right, so we're going to talk about a sea monster, and we're going to go back in time to talk about the Lyngbakr.
Lyngbakr.
And there's actually two. This episode could have been two episodes, but I kind of combined them, and we're going to talk about that why in a few minutes when we get to the other sea monster we're going to talk about in this episode. So this is a two for one-er.
Okay.
2 for the price of 1. You got to listen. You only got to hear us once. You hear 2 mysteries.
Monsters.
Monstersies. Monster pals.
Monster pals. There you go. Summer of monster pals.
Sea monster pals. Yeah. So the Lyngbakr. Yeah. And I thought this was this is Norse folklore, and I thought this was awesome when I first heard about it, and that's the reason I picked it.
Yeah.
And why we're doing the Summer of Sea Monsters. So the Lyngbakr, often referred to as the heatherback, is a mythical sea creature of Norse folklore, as I mentioned. The creature is believed to be one of the many Jotnar, or giants, that populate Norse mythology.
Okay.
So we're going through Norse mythology. So whether you believe it's true or not, that's up to you. We're not here to tell you what's right or wrong.
We don't even know.
We have no idea. The Lyngbakr is a unique and fascinating figure in Scandinavian lore as well, often depicted as a colossal sea monster with a back covered in heather and other vegetation.
What's heather?
I think heather is like a type of vegetation.
Okay.
So you look up heather. I think I might be thinking of alfalfa.
They get from little rascals?
No, like the food, like the things like bunnies eat. They like alfalfa. Anyway.
Yeah. Apparently Heather is a song by someone named Conan Grave. I don't know who that is. Right.
No clue.
Keep going.
Go ahead. Did you find it?
Well, another word I haven't heard of, Calluna, Calluna. Calluna vulgaris, common heather, ling, or simply heather, the sole species in the genus Calluna in the flowering plant family.
It's a flowering plant. Like a field type of plant. Something that grows in fields. In obviously Norse or Scandinavian locales.
It's a low-growing evergreen shrub. There you go.
Gotcha. Evergreen. Gotcha.
Look at that. You got it.
You got it. So the Lyngbakr, as I said, often depicted as a colossal sea monster with a back covered in heather and other vegetation, making it look like a small island or submerged rock. Yeah.
It's like that the turtle from Neverending Story.
Oh yeah. Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, really?
I didn't even know that was in there.
Yeah, he's like that big turtle that keeps sneezing on
but was he in the water?
Yeah, but he was like a swamp. It was like called a swamp something. But he had like stuff growing on him. Like moss,
maybe that's why I got it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I've seen the movie in years.
Well, we're gonna be watching it soon, Chris.
Good. Anyway, Treyu, can we go along with this?
Yeah, sorry.
Star Child. Okay. So
Star Child.
The origins of the Lyngbakr can be traced back to the medieval Norse sagas and mythological texts. The creature is famously mentioned in the I'm going to say this as best I can. The Orvar Odr saga. So the Orvar Odr saga
great.
was basically kind of like the Norse version of the Iliad, or like that type of story. there is in that book, that saga, there is a mention of a massive sea monster with a back covered in vegetation, which could deceive sailors into thinking it was an island. So the name Lyngbakr itself is derived from Old Norse meaning ling, which is heather, and backer meaning back. Right. Heather back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Checks out.
And it directly references that appearance. That's why they named it that. So it's in the saga.
Okay. So is this supposed to be like a mischievous kind of thing, or like a
possibly
maybe evil kind of thing? If it's like supposed to be looking like an island for sailors.
Correct.
Too? Okay.
It is said that the Lyngbakr is so large it could easily be mistaken for an island with trees and shrubs growing on its back, including the heather. The key element of the legend is this island that seems like an oasis that lures sailors.
Ooh.
And when they land on it, they anchor their ship to it, maybe, come ashore, and then thinking it's solid ground, and then it just immerses into the ground and kills everybody.
Wasn't this a thing in Sea of Thieves when we were playing that? Remember that? We didn't know.
Valheim.
Valheim, that's what it was. Valheim.
Yeah, same type of thing.
Remember, we're just like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah, so that's what it is.
But we never figured out why it was doing that.
It's just that's what it is.
That's cool.
It's mischievous.
All right, that's pretty cool.
So the idea is that
Valheim is a game.
Yeah, is a computer game.
Yeah,
PC game. Anyway, so the Lyngbakr dives down, dragging the ships and everything with it. The idea is, I guess, I understand that it kind of takes the treasures and stuff with it, killing the people. So in the Orvar Odr saga, this is the most prominent story featuring the Lyngbakr, and it's from medieval Iceland. I guess would they be the Norse kind of?
Sure,
yeah. The saga itself was written in the 13th century, follows the adventures of the hero Orvar Odr. The tale of the Lyngbakr is one of the many challenges that he faces during his travels. That's why I said it's kind of like this other.
It's like Odysseus.
Yeah.
Or Ulysses.
Was Iliad? Not
Iliad,
Ulysses.
Iliad and Odyssey. Yeah. They're like the.
Okay. What's the Iliad?
It's dealing with Odysseus too, right?
I don't know. So it's not the Odyssey.
No, sorry. Iliad is Troy. Fall of Troy, right?
I don't know. God. Well, it's literature, wasn't it?
So Odysseus was part of the Iliad.
Okay.
It's when they did the whole Trojan horse thing, like the sacking of Troy and burning Troy. And Odysseus is Ulysses travels trying to get back home.
Okay.
I think that's. There's someone will say I'm wrong, but
was he fight a Cyclops in that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He has a dog that he misses. He has all these affairs, and he comes home and finds out his wife might have cheated on him, and he loses his mind, but he's going around sleeping while he's women and creatures and stuff like that.
More simpler time, Jordan. So back to the Orvar Odr. The hero in the story has a run with the Lyngbakr. And him and his crew encounter the Lyngbakr when sailing, and they mistake it for an island. They anchor the ships, go ashore, and rest to gather supplies. They see this evergreen area in the Northern Sea. Right. However, they soon realize the mistake, and the island begins to move. The Lyngbakr is disturbed by their presence, dives in the ocean, attempting to drag the ship down with it. Orvar and his men nearly escape, learning a valuable lesson about the dangers of the sea. The story not only highlights the Lyngbakr's deceptive nature, but also serves as a cautionary tale to the heroes of the ocean and the importance of vigilance. Always be vigilant. Where you're going, things may seem too good to be true. They probably are. Yeah. Right. So the story also reflects the Norse people's deep respect for the sea and understanding that it is very unpredictable. That's kind of plays into this.
Sorry, this thing's considered a giant?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's obviously as big as an ocean.
Well, yeah.
Or big as an island.
Yeah, they had names for giant. Sorry, something.
Well, yeah, the Jotnar.
That's what it was, sorry.
Yeah, the giants. I've said I mentioned that.
You did, yeah.
The people, the giants, the original giants or whatever.
At Jotunheim?
Is where they live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, there is another sea monster I was going to talk about in this episode, and I just decided to combine them because they're kind of the same. They're kind of spoken in the same breath. They're in the same. They both appear in the saga, the Odr saga. There's also a part in this other story which we'll go over, but the other one is called the Hafgufa. Hafgufna.
Sure.
And they're mentioned both in the Orvar Odr saga. Okay, they're both mentioned. Technically, both mentioned, but the Hafgufa is called the biggest monster in the whole ocean. The big.
Ooh, all right.
But I'll go into what that one actually is. So it's kind of they're both kind of the reason I put them together is because they're both kind of this idea of an island.
Okay.
That disappears, kind of. So we'll go into that in a second. But let me see.
Do you think maybe they might have derived from the same thing at one point? As far as like storytelling.
Well, here's I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over what's written in the story. Okay, so this is translated from the Orvar Odr saga, and please excuse my pronunciations because obviously this makes no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. It's just that it's hard to pronounce. And it's very well documented in this show that
that's what I'm saying.
we are bad at speaking.
We're way past that.
So here's directly translated from that saga. Waggoner said, "Now I will tell you that there are two sea monsters. One is called Hafgufa, the sea mist, another Lyngbakr. The Lyngbakr is the largest whale in the world, but the Hafgufa is the largest monster in the sea. It is the nature of the creature to swallow men and ships and even whales and everything else within reach. It stays submerged for days and then rears its head and nostrils above the surface and stays that way at least until the change of tide. Now that sound we just sailed through was the space between its jaws. In its nostrils and lower jaw were those rocks that appeared in the sea. While the Lyngbakr was the island we saw sinking down. However, Ogmund Tussock, has sent these creatures to you by means of his magic to cause death of you, Odvar, and all your men. He thought more men would have gone the same way with those that had already drowned. The Lyngbakr, which wasn't an island, and sank, and expected that the Hafgufa would have swallowed us all. Today I sailed through the mouth because I knew that it had recently surfaced."
So who is this almond guy that cast the spell?
I think that's just from the story.
Yeah.
It's Ogmund Tussock. Yeah. So that's from translated from the saga. Okay.
The one is the biggest thing in the world. One's the biggest thing in the sea.
Correct. No. Wait. One is the biggest. Okay. One is called the Hafgufa.
That's near the beginning of.
Yes. One is the largest whale in the world, but the Hafgufa is the largest monster in the sea. So. Okay. Technically what they say is Hafgufa and Lyngbakr are mentioned as two sea monsters. The Hafgufa is called the biggest monster in the whole ocean.
Okay.
While the Lyngbakr could be multiple, maybe, and it's just really large.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's just a translation issue, maybe,
yeah.
And it's also explanation. So the Lyngbakr is the smaller of the two, supposedly, of the Hafgufa. Let's go. I'm going to go over what the Hafgufa is, though. And I just mentioned it. That was from the story.
There's a sea mist?
It's known as the sea mist, also called the sea steam or the sea mist. And it's reflecting its elusive nature because it is
fluid and just kind of constantly moving.
Or that it just appears out of nowhere like mist.
What was that show? Popular show? Never watched it, but I remember seeing a commercial. We were stuck on an island. There's a plane crash stuck on an island. It went on for like years.
The one where it was like they thought they were dead or something.
Lost, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an ad. They're on an island and there's like this mist going around. white mist or like maybe it was a black mist. I can't remember. But it was like going around and like terror. Like again, I never watched it. It was a commercial for one of the episodes coming up. It was like the sea mist, like this mist going around or smoke.
Yeah,
it was be like deadly and like it was causing them problems. I know again that's like more a smoke thing. This is more a mist thing, and they're on an island and like it's out at sea. But I was like, oh, I was like, where would they come up with something like that from? But so maybe.
Well, I mean, there's lots of stories about a mist that comes and kills people, like a gas.
Yeah. It just seems silly. It just seems silly to me. I was like, that seems dumb. Why are people watching this show?
I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
I don't know. I've heard it's like
seeing that ad. I was like, this is stupid.
I heard it's like
scared of a mist.
It's like one of those like talked about as like one of the best shows ever made. But then it's like apparently everybody hates how it ended because obviously how would you end something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never watched it. Never really.
That's kind of reminds me of that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for putting that in there. Thank you for delivering it to us. Anyway, the Hafgufa. Apparently, the idea is that so. The difference between these two, the Hafgufa is this giant thing that just swallows ships whole. The Lyngbakr, you will anchor to it and it just drops down and takes everything with it. That's why there's two differences. Yep. So I guess the idea is like if you sail through something, it could be like misty, you don't know where you're at because it's going to swallow you.
Yeah.
So the term first appeared in Old Norse literature. That's the Hafgufa. Name is derived from Haf meaning sea and Gufa meaning steam or mist. The idea here is that it emerges from the sea, shrouding in mist, adding to the mystery, kind of how it's going to, and then it just takes you down. Like you just kind of, why is it all misty in the ocean? Kind of like a fog, and then you don't know why you're in this fog or where you're at. So you just get
Which one would be more terrifying to you?
If I'm in the ocean?
Yeah, like if
I wouldn't be in the ocean. I like this. If I like to see something from the shore, I'd like to see the Lyngbakr pull people down.
But like,
what if you're sitting there like on like a beach and all of a sudden like something swallows?
That's what I'm saying. Like you think you're safe on that island of the Lyngbakr, and all of a sudden he just starts pulling you under. Whereas like more deceitful, but the mist one, you're just like you're already wary because like I can't see where I'm going.
Yeah,
something eerie about it already, and then you're just like, oh, I'm dying now.
I guess you would just drown then, right? Because if it pulls you down, like if you're both of them seem to just drown you.
Yeah.
One monster's just gonna swallow everything, but you're obviously still full. It's just water.
Yeah,
like you're gonna go live in its belly. I mean, maybe there's a bunch of people living in the belly.
Maybe.
What would you rather?
I'd rather die by the mist one because, like I said, with the island one, you're like, oh, you're thinking you're safe. You're like, oh, we could rest, we could sleep.
False sense of security.
Yeah. They're just like, oh no, I'm being pulled under. I'm dying. Yeah. I'm drowning.
So while both of these are mentioned in the Older saga, this one is the Hafgufa is also mentioned in other Icelandic sagas and medieval texts. Most notably, the Konungs Skuggsjá, which is King's Mirror. It's 13th century Norwegian educational text. We talked about it before. We talked about it before in another episode. Is written by a king for his son.
Yeah.
How to be a better king.
Is that the airships of Illinois?
Lyngbakr-Noise,
okay.
Yeah. So this is from that same book, same writing, saga. So the Hafgufa is depicted as a colossal sea creature, often compared to an island due to its immense size. Accounts vary, but common descriptions include that it's the size of an island, it's mistaken for an island or a series of rocks. It has whale-like in appearance with a massive mouth capable of swallowing ships with an S, whole. Plural, ships. Creature said to remain submerged for long periods, only surfacing to feed. When it does, it opens its mouth wide, luring fish and ships into its gaping maw, and then closing. So it just kind of like comes up from the ocean, opens up, something sails in, he eats it.
Sounds lazy.
Yeah. Both the Lyngbakr and the Hafgufa share simulators with other sea monsters we may talk about in this series. Who knows? Including the kraken.
Ooh.
The leviathan. Or the Aspidsalone. Apparently, it is a giant sea creature from Greek mythology.
Maybe we'll find out.
Maybe
later on in another episode.
I think it's the same basic idea as the Lyngbakr, but we don't know. But it's not the same as the kraken or Leviathan. Anyway, so in the King's Mirror, it was written around 1250. It's a dialogue again between a father and son, and covers many other topics, including natural history. There is a section in the King's Mirror that describes sea creatures. Okay, the Hafgufa is in there.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what it says. There is a fish that is still larger, called the Hafgufa, who appears to swallow men and ships and even whales and everything else within its reach. It is so large that it seems more like an island than a fish. Neither is this one ever observed to swim nor to eat, and is rarely found, but it is always observed in it is always observed in the same place.
It doesn't really move around. It just hangs out.
This is one translation from the King's Mirror, written in 1250. Okay, so maybe there was something out there doing this. We don't know. And we're going to get into some theories, but when we go back to the Ordvar saga, there is one of the, I guess like one of the high points in the book, or like one of the points in the story, as it's seen as a pivotal moment, quote, pivotal moment in the saga, is the men in the book encountering things like the Lyngbakr and the Ordvar, or the Hafgufa. So these are the two things like pivotal. They're seen as pivotal moments in the story.
Are these things just like, there are multiple of these things, or just one? So is it like
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a great question. I'm sure it's written down in some of the research I found. Some really good research by a couple guys. There's some really old research, like really old citations, references used for a lot of this stuff that go back a long time. Obviously, people translating the King's Mirror and the saga.
Those translations, like retranslations, which makes it difficult.
Yeah, there's also a really good. One of the translations I use is from Richard Constant Boer. I think it was written in 1888.
Jeez.
His translation, maybe
1888.
Yeah,
we've been over that year before.
Oh, Jack the Ripper. But this was a Dutch guy. Maybe he was a
Maybe he's Jack the Ripper.
Anyway, back to the story. So there's also the Hafgufa is also mentioned in medieval bestiaries, illustrated compendiums of animals, both real and mythic, including descriptions of the Hafgufa.
Wait, is it bestiary or bestiary?
Bestiaries. Bestiaries. What'd you say? There's no D in there.
Bestiary.
Oh, I always said bestiaries.
Sounds right.
I don't know.
I
don't know words. Bestiary.
Bestiary.
That's what it is.
It is.
Bestiaries. Yeah. Medieval bestiaries. I can't say it. Never mind. Forget it. Anyway, the inclusion of the Hafgufa in these bestiaries reflect the creature's significance and medieval thought and its role in collective imagination of the time. So it is part of these texts, popular medieval Europe. In these bestiaries were sought to educate readers about the natural wonders of the world. So it was, for some reason, the Hafgufa was included in these bestiaries, meant to educate people in Europe. And it was included in that.
Which is weird because you're saying it's educational.
Right.
Are they saying there might be some truth to this?
I don't know. So we're going to go back to the Lyngbakr, which will also kind of reference the Hafgufa, but we're going to go back and talk about theories.
I couldn't imagine seeing, either of those things. Like, it'd be terrifying. Be the victim of one of those things, obviously. Well, you'd be dead, but it's seeing like even when we're playing that game, just like, because I remember
thinking in solid ground.
Yeah, because like in that game, again, this is a survival kind of game that we're talking about. We mentioned it earlier. Like, we got to stop.
stop our boat.
Yeah, we got to stop our boat because we might have lost something or someone died. We have to go back. And then we get on the island and it starts like, wait, is
shaking.
You're like, it's shaking and like, wait, it's lowering. It's lowering. It's lowering. We're just like, oh, crap, get it back on the boat.
Yeah.
Like I can imagine that being a thing.
Really? I mean,
in real life, like you're like, you need, that'd be terrifying.
I mean, you figure there's probably been islands that sunk in an earthquake.
Yeah, I know, of course. Yeah, but just.
And like things went down with it.
You see this island, like you said, it's seen as an oasis, like a reprieve from being on the ocean for the sea for so long.
Especially the northern seas when you talk about this.
Oh yeah. Also, by the way, this is we're playing that game. This is how this whole thing came about. You brought up doing a podcast.
Oh yeah, we were on that game talking to each other. We're like, maybe we should do something more useful of our time.
You actually use my degree for something.
Yeah, and here we are. Now, tens of people.
40 episodes in with tens of peoples.
Tens of peoples. Who knows? Maybe we'll die right here someday and just be like, "That was a waste." Please send us emails. So when we go back to Lyngbakr, there's also other mythology with the Lyngbakr in it, including there are many maritime societies throughout the world that have legends of sea monsters that are in deceptive islands.
Yeah.
So it's not even like this is just a Norse thing. Again, part of just like mermaids and sirens and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Every society or culture has a kind of their own version.
Yeah.
Something like this, I would
right.
imagine.
And there's also something called one of the most notable is the St. Brendan's Island legend from Irish folklore. St. Brendan was a legendary navigator said to have discovered an island that turned out to be a giant sea creature. Yeah. Story shares similarities with the Lyngbakr, highlighting the common themes of exploration, deception, and the power of nature. It's kind of the common themes in the stories, but there's also one called the Zaratan, which is Middle Eastern and Mediterranean mythology. It was a giant sea turtle.
Nice.
That appears to resemble the Lyngbakr. So the Zaratan is described as having a shell covered with vegetation, often mistaken for an island by sailors. Obviously, this means that these people
were interacting with one another.
Were interacting in some way.
Some way, yeah.
Sharing stories somehow.
Yes.
Because they were obviously traveling in the oceans. They had to be trading and stuff.
Yeah. Trading, dating, whatever.
Like people were moving
some kind of
around.
interaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, common themes, even if people weren't seen. It seems to be like even some of these were people that weren't seen to be seafaring people. Still have stories about islands disappear. So obviously got those from other cultures.
Right.
Or maybe it was real, Okay, now we're going to go into some theories about the Lyngbakr and the Hafgufa. The one we'll start with is a natural phenomena. So one of the prevalent theories, the Lyngbakr legend, originates from a real-life natural phenomenon. Sailors in the Viking Age would have encountered various large sea creatures and unusual oceanic occurrences, which could easily be mythologized over time. Some of these natural phenomena might have inspired the legend, whether like Hafgufa or the Lyngbakr. One of them could have been whales.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, this is one of the most cited as like what they probably saw.
I imagine they would have seen whales at one point, though, in their life before.
And this theory goes off that like maybe they saw it and like over time it got mythologized as like, oh, we saw this giant living thing and it went below the,
Right.
Because maybe because obviously whales like would surface and then they would see it and they'd be like, holy crap. And then it would here's this huge land.
Yeah.
And it disappears. Certain species of whales are enormous and can appear like small islands when they are on the surface. The heather and vegetation described in the Lyngbakr back could be metaphorical or exaggerated, such as by descriptions of barnacles, seaweed, and other marine growths.
Yeah.
Another natural phenomena theory, part of the natural phenomena theory, would be underwater volcano. There's always everything we talk about, oceanic stuff. It's always underwater volcano.
It's possible.
The movement of the Lyngbakr might be mythologized account of underwater volcanic activity. Underwater eruptions and resulting formations could create illusions of land masses that have disappear, much like a Lyngbakr. We see this. You see those volcanoes that create land.
Yeah.
And then over time, that land goes away. And that could be like one year they sailed by and it was there. A couple years later, they sailed by again and it was gone. Like, oh,
yeah,
that was just a theory. Just you decide. Do your own research. Anyway, second theory, psychological and symbolic interpretations. This theory suggests or explores that the Lyngbakr, as a psychological and symbolic construct. According to this view, the Lyngbakr, represents a deeper fear and archetypes within the human psyche, such as fear of the unknown. Ocean has always been a symbol of the unknown, and this sea monster embodies that and the dangers and unpredictability of the sea.
Sure.
Everything that could happen. This deceptive nature appearing to be safe only to turn out deadly. So when you have you think about you
gotta keep your head on a swivel.
Well, you think about just calm oceans could all of a sudden
burn. Yeah.
Burn and be deadly.
Notice. Plus, you're out there for a long time too. You imagine your mind
seen
starts
lots of stuff and
tricks on you.
Yeah, I mean, if you see a whale surface and then that's probably pretty, especially when you're on a ship.
Yeah,
that the whale is as big of or more. Yeah. We talked about trying to get scurvy before, and it's really hard. The other, so part of this of the psychological interpretation is the Lyngbakr ability to support life. So this is the idea of a duality between life and
symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. And its ability to support life and cause destruction by showing things can grow on it, and then if they can pull ships down anytime it wants. Symbolizes the duality of nature is both nurturing and dangerous. This kind of duality is seen as a common theme in many mythology. Reflects on the complex relationship humans have with nature. Which is crazy to think about. Nowadays we think of the people back in the 1200s, 1000, they were just big dummies, and they're having these writing about these pretty crazy concepts that most people nowadays don't even understand.
Yeah.
But they were writing about it, mythologizing it, things like that. Kind of bringing it into their culture.
Yeah. They're also just trying to understand themselves.
Yeah. I guess there's no TV and stuff, some video games, so people just they have a lot more time to think.
Yeah. Less distractions, maybe.
You think 800 years from now, what do people like? Do you think they look back on the mythology of the 2020s?
Oh, geez, man.
What mythology are we creating as
reality TV? Maybe, I don't know. And I think that we're
200 years from now. Okay, this is getting deep. Come along with me. 200 years from now, what do you think people are going to say about when we think about we look back 200 years in the 1800s, 1700s. We talk about the stuff that was going on, Revolutionary War, Industrial Revolution, all this stuff going on. There's not a lot of mythology that comes out of that though. Nowadays, it seems if Jack the Ripper, maybe 200, 500 years from now, that's gonna be more of mythology. But what are people going to talk about in the 2020s or the 2000s as
2000s that we're in right now?
I mean, obviously, I'm talking about early 2000s. Obviously, it's going to be 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
War, the wars going on. Not talking beside the wars. When they talk about culture, they're going to be when we look back in the 1800s and we think of ladies wearing the dresses they wore, the fashion of the time. I mean, the way things are going, we may be wearing everybody's wearing the same exact outfit, type of thing, because of hey, it's easier to produce this, and it's
yeah. I mean, it's all on kind of a pendulum kind of thing.
Or that's we can produce these; they don't harm the environment, clothing, fashions, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's always that.
I mean, no matter what, I feel people hundreds of years from now are going to look back we have us before on this show. These people are idiots.
Yeah,
what were they thinking?
Yeah,
they have hindsight.
Do you think they'll be able to think like the media we have now, I think people will be able to listen to like this show.
Ooh. I mean, we're able to listen to, because people have catalog stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas people like take the time to catalog. So we're like, listen to like old radio shows and watch television shows.
But as you digitize stuff, the thoughts are like, we're going to digitize stuff. Everything's digital, so it's never going to go away. But it's not so much that it goes away. The things that people use to access that data is going to be different.
Yeah.
Like we're going to access data a lot differently than we do now.
Right.
And like even 20 years from now,
right.
The idea of a hard drive, SSD hard drive, the technology we use, the electromagnetic ways the ways that we like store data now is going to be completely different.
But yeah, like also once it's out there, like someone controls that. If they decide, that's why they bring us up. So with Willow, the TV show, it's just like it's gone.
Right.
You can't watch it legally. So they decided that like no one can see that. That's a problem with, I think, with digitizing stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
but there's also
like
legal ways.
Yeah. But like you're saying though, with your point, are we digitizing things 20 years from now? Or is there be a whole different way we're doing this
stuff?
Stuff?
Like it's going to be a different way of storing digital content.
Right.
And we already see it's already changed in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
The way we store digital content. I mean, the way we store content has changed a lot.
Yeah.
In the last 50 years, obviously. But anyway, what are people going to be doing 100 years from now, you think? Like 100 years from today, in 3024, what are people doing?
You said 100 years from today?
100 years
from today. It's going to be 1,000 years from today in 3024.
1,000 years? 100 years from today. So 21...
learning math maybe. 21, 24. Oh, geez, man.
And what's transportation going to be like? Because what, like we talked about this before, 100 years from ago, cars were still not really a thing.
But also even like 6 years ago, like, oh, we're going to have flying cars.
Right.
Year 2000. That didn't never happen.
But like the horses were like the primary means of conveyance for boats and horses and trains. 200 years ago. What are people going to be doing to just transportation in general? Will they even need to transport things? I mean, I they will, but
we're going to have like our own little personal drone things that fly us around, or I don't know.
Are we just going to be like heads in jars and they're just flying the heads around and putting them on different robot bodies? That'd be cool.
I just hope it's not like, what was the one? Wall-E.
Oh, we're all just sitting in chairs?
Yeah.
It's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like things are going to get any more difficult.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like think about like 30 years ago, things were like communication, transportation, like they were all more difficult.
Yes.
Medicine.
Yeah. How much quicker can we have communication though, or like easier? Like I can't wrap my head around that.
I could just say, and then you hear exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I could just be
what
like,
you're thinking?
"Hey Jordan," just like you hear exactly. No matter where you are in the world, I can instantly talk to you.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's going to get like that. Eventually, like there's already people working on that stuff, probably.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait until anything I think can be. There's already people like it was a Neuralink, that one company. So like they're already working on stuff that are heading in that direction.
Yeah.
I think the one problem with a lot of that type of brain, like mind, like brain to computer connection is your body's really good at fighting things off.
Right.
And so you can only do it like, I think there was a story a couple years ago about these companies working on this type of stuff for people that were obviously paralyzed, stuff like that. And so they were doing tests on these probes that like just kind of like Neuralink, like stuff like that.
Yeah, imagine the body's like it realizes the foreign things in your body is like fighting it off.
It produces a plaque that basically cuts off all communication with that thing. And so your brain you will never be able to do that one again because your brain figure out how to kill it. So like they have to figure out like it's like you can try it once and that's it. Type of thing. I don't know. I mean, 100 years from now, we probably won't be here. Maybe, unless if we're robots.
Yeah. Do some cool stuff real quick.
I mean, yeah. 1,000 years. I don't know. I mean, you hear those stories about, there's a lot of stories about like people that like, they're using different computer programs, AI crap that's like, hey, you want to talk to your grandfather again? Here's your grandfather. Like that's, they take nuts, like, and it's just like, obviously it's like takes all the pictures and stuff. And, and kind of combines it. You know, it's not real, obviously, but. That's
still pretty like cool.
Imagine downloading. Isn't there like a movie about that? Transcendence or something?
Downloading your brain?
Yeah, it's like
I'm sure there is. I can't think of one.
No, I mean like there's a pretty big movie. It's like Johnny Depp is in it. It's called Transcendence. I think it was that one guy made it. That one director.
Yeah, Johnny Director.
No, he made Batman.
Tim Burton?
No, the other Batman, Christian Bale Batman.
Oh, Christopher Nolan.
I think it's a Nolan movie. I think it's a Nolan. Transcendence, Johnny Depp.
I don't think Johnny Depp's ever done a Christopher Nolan movie.
I don't think Johnny Depp's ever done a Christopher Nolan movie. Such a dick. I don't think he's ever done one. I don't think he's ever done Christopher Nolan movie. I don't think he's ever done one. But did you find it?
I'm still trying to figure out how to spell
Transcendental?
So 2014, Johnny Depp's in it.
I don't think Christopher Nolan ever did a Johnny Depp movie.
I'm not saying it's. We don't know if it's Christopher Nolan yet. I've never heard of this movie.
It's pretty.
Directed by Wally Pfister.
That's a fake name. You just made that up. It's Christopher Nolan.
Wally Pfister, but with a P. PF.
I think you're wrong.
But it's AI. He's like.
Yeah, he's like downloads his brain. Morgan Freeman's in it.
Oh, Wally Fist. Director and former cinematographer.
I think you're wrong. I think you're just making that up. You don't want me to be right about it.
All right. But it's interesting though. Related movies are showing Insomnia, Prestige, Memento, Inception, Batman, Dark Knight Rises. All Christopher Nolan movies.
Who?
They're saying Transcendence, and they're showing these are all Christopher Nolan movies. They're showing after that.
Yeah, so it's probably him.
So I wonder if he had something to do with it.
That's what I'm saying. What maybe Wally Pfister is his
alias or like
yeah.
No, that's apparently Wally Pfister right there.
No, it looks like him.
no, it looks like him.
No, maybe it's like his Christopher Gaines, like Garth Brooks Christopher Gaines thing.
He's worked with Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure it's terrible. Anyway, back to something more interesting. What was I talking about? All right, so we're done. We just finished psychological stuff. Cultural and mythological influences are another theory.
Mm-hmm.
The Lyngbakr legend may also be the result of cultural exchanges, as we mentioned, and the synthesis of various mythological traditions. So cross-cultural mythology, such as there's similar myths of sea monsters as I talked about the other ones from Middle East, Mediterranean, like the St. Brendan's Island, which we mentioned. There's also a Norse mythological context, such as within Norse mythology, the Lyngbakr could be related to the sea monsters such as the oh my God, this is the Midgard serpent you talked about. The Jordmungador.
World Eater.
Yeah, the Midgard serpents. I don't know how to say it, sorry. And the kraken. Jordmungador. These creatures all share the themes of immense size, maritime peril, indicating a common narrative thread in Norse mythos concerning the dangers of the sea. So, and another theory is the historical and geographical context of the Viking Age may provide insights into the legend, because during the Viking Age, Norse seafarers were known for their extensive voyages across the North Atlantic. Their encounters with uncharted territories and challenges of navigation could have contributed to the creation of the myth like the Lyngbakr. The creature's deceptive nature might reflect real experience of mistaking landforms or natural phenomena for safe harbors. It's kind of something they brought back, and they also shared as they met these other cultures. Like you imagine if you're like one of those Norse guys and you're like, you just seen this crap we saw out there. It was nuts.
And someone's like, yeah, it's a floating.
It's just some lava, bro. It's all right. Yeah. That's a whale, dog.
It's a whale.
This also goes along with the geographical context of like maritime hazards. It basically, this idea is that it symbolizes maritime hazards faced by the Norse sailors, such as sudden storms, underwater obstacles, and treacherous waters around Iceland and Greenland. The legend may have served as a cautionary tale, warning sailors and others to be vigilant, prepare for everything and anything.
Yeah.
And the last grouping of theories for the Lyngbakr, which I may also talk about. I want to check some, but anyway, the last theory is the literary and artistic evolution of the story, that the Lyngbakr you must view this legend from a lens of literary and artistic evolution. The idea that this the saga, the Orvar Odr saga, was told and maybe embellished over time, and this also gives credence to the idea of a rich storytelling tradition in the medieval world.
Okay.
That they were really good about hyping things up, I guess. Like making them sound way better, more interesting.
Imagine a lot of these are told orally. You gotta put some panache.
And the idea is that it was just embellished over time to make it more interesting. Because again, people were bored, had nothing else to do but embellish things. So let me go back here for 1 second and say the Hafgufa also had a lot of these same theories as the Lyngbakr. Goes into like the fear of the unknown, myth as a metaphor that these events on the sea, such as shipwrecks or powerful storms, may be personified. That's the other thing. Another thing is like when these sailors go down or something, it's like they personify the disaster that could have happened, like a storm or wrecking or something, that they're actually like they're personifying as it was a monster that took them. It had to be. It couldn't have been a storm, or couldn't have been them mistaking something.
Yeah, they would not have been that like easily.
Right. The one that's different from the Lyngbakr is tidal waves and rogue waves, because it was this giant thing. The other one is the tidal waves and rogue waves that basically are just so big, unexpected, that they just capsize a ship.
Yeah,
that's what a different one from the Lyngbakr was. The Hafgufa could have been these tidal waves, rogue waves type of thing. And I believe that brings us to one more. Misidentified whales, which we talked about for the Lyngbakr as whales that surface, but the Hafgufa could also be misidentified as a whale, because it could have been a blue whale, which we talked about, that were eating fish, and it kind of like intensified. It kind of got embellished.
Okay,
they saw this and actually, if
like a whale type they've never seen before,
right?
Yeah,
but also this goes back into the actual legend of the Hafgufa. Actually has some still research being done about what they were seeing, and there's 2023 scientists reported that they observed behavior of whales resembling that of the Hafgufa of legends by staying stationary on the sea surface with the jaws open and waiting for fish to swim to the mouths. The whale also used chewed up fish to attract more fish.
All right, yeah.
Scientists noted that the earliest description of the Hafgufa described as a type of whale that proposed that this behavior of the whale as the origin of the Hafgufa myth, which became more fantastic in later centuries.
All right.
That doesn't explain the Lyngbakr though.
Yeah.
It's just the Hafgufa. Hafgufa. So that was a heavy hitter, a two for oneer.
Welcome.
You're welcome, world. Jordan, what do you think these, we'll say the Lyngbakr was, or what are these people, what are they seeing? What was it? What was the point of the starting point of this legend?
I think it was probably, there's a good chance it's a mixture of things. They're seeing a whale, or like a real whale,
Real whale.
Real whale.
Yep. They saw things real well.
Real whale. I think a real whale, but maybe they didn't know the species of it. Maybe it was they saw a blue whale. I don't know if blue whales are out that way. They could see, like you said, they just comes up to surface, opens its mouth, like the fish come in. They're known to kind of stay in the same spot, doing that for a period of time.
Yeah.
But also, it could also be like cautionary tale, like you're saying, as far as like telling these Viking sailors, explorers, to be like, hey, you gotta keep your wits about you. You never know what's going to happen around here. So it might have been embellished to a point where, like, it becomes a story of like, don't go on this island. It's not actually an island, it's a whale, but like embellishment there, obviously. But like, look out, keep your eyes peeled, look out for, like, you know, things you're gonna see, things you've never seen before. Don't lose your head out, like you're cool over it.
You could see trucking. A monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just reading this thing. There's a 13th century Icelandic kind of old Norse textbook. It says the Hafgufa is the sea steamer.
Sea steamer.
Yeah. There's some research done by Hermannsson Halldór, which is in Icelandic from 1975, where he goes through the Sonora Edda, which is the textbook, and he finds that an 18th century source glosses the term margu, or mermaid, as Hafgufa.
Oh.
Or Hafgua. Yeah, brings it back. The Hafgufa mermaid in recent expert of the book, but is translated to kraken maybe in the past, was translated to sea reek in the saga. So it seems like I'm jumping around there with things that are translated differently, or maybe copying the book, you know, like it was embellished or changed. Things were misrepresented.
Started as one thing and kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I think I agree with you that this seems to be one of those things, cautionary tale.
Yeah.
That was embellished over time. And as it was taken between cultures, it was written down as truth. It was then shared and used as a tool to teach people about the ocean.
What, but like, why do you need to embellish that much? Like, every time I talk about stuff, it's like past episodes and other episodes included, like, talk about the possibility of the embellishment being used as like a cautionary tale, but like, why do you need to go that far with it? Again, maybe it's the thing that happens over time, but like, why take it that far? Like, hey, look out.
It's kind of maybe one of those things. I think
there's some things in the ocean you're not going to understand what they are, but like, you don't need to go that far.
Well, because every time you retell, you want to tell bigger because you're trying to be like the big man that survived it. I think it's one of those things.
Also, I mean, could it be a game of like telephone? Like, started one way and then kind of gets like lost, and then like
you're at the bar, the pub one way, and it's like it was this big, and then I was like, hey, so it was this big, and it's like, or it could be, you know, like, oh, it was like the saga, like our ship overcame that. You know, we sailed through this thing, and it may have been a storm, and they thought it was this, like the only way they can personify that. I think it was kind of a personification of
the
way they personify things of like, this storm took out my brother's ship, but we made it through, and it was this horrible monster of a storm.
Yeah.
With these giant rocks here and there. Like, it was kind of like one of those things. Or they landed on this island, and we thought it was vegetation, and something happened, and it had to be a monster that took it down, like took down all the food or something, you know, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
It could have been just something as simple as showmanship when you're talking at the bar, or embellishment from the creative side, and a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Cautionary tales are obviously always going to be ratcheted up.
For sure, yeah.
So that people will listen.
Yeah.
The more fantastical you make it, the more people get scared to it. So it's kind of like that marketing thing.
Yeah. Captures the imagination.
Right. How can you personify something that's dangerous? You have to make it a monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't, when we talk about different sicknesses throughout history, you know, the Black Death, they had to personify it as skeleton, like they personified it as something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was skeletons or whatever. It was a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had to personify it as death death needs to be personified. Like I think humans are better with that.
Visuals.
Yeah, like we have to personify it as a force coming for us. Because we obviously think we can overcome nature at all times.
Yeah.
So humans have to think of it as like a monster it's like more powerful than you. You just tell kids that. Like back in the day.
Being able to identify the problem or the enemy, like visually.
Yeah, as a something that's ever present.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get you. It's gonna outsmart you.
Right.
Because you're just say like, hey, you're a sailor. You gotta be careful out there. There's rocks, and be like, it's a rock. It's not gonna move. But if the rock's a monster,
yes,
then maybe you should be more. It could play tricks on you. You want a sailor that can like.
Yeah, because I mean the ocean's fickle. Like the weather's fickle at the ocean.
Sometimes
so like giving it like a name or like a monster manifesting it that way, you're like, okay, I can base this head on, and it seems more manageable maybe because you're giving it like an actual.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think if you see it as a living thing, that it can change.
Yeah.
So you should always be on your guard because it may represent a rock this big or as big as your boat.
Yeah.
I think we saw that like with the Carol Daring, the last one episode we talked about that boat, the Diamond Shawl.
Yeah.
That they always were moving.
Right.
So I'm sure there was folklore about those things being this like sea monster. I guess we could probably do the research on that, but that's the kind of thing that could be like maybe 1200s. There's probably something in
sand creature.
Yeah. I mean, it could easily make a story out of that. It just sounds better because you're trying to teach someone about the ocean.
Yeah.
They're not going to listen unless it's a fantastical thing. You really want them to understand it. So what do you think? Still thinking it's just a personification?
Yeah. It'd be cool if there's something like that in the ocean for sure. Even the mist thing would be kind of cool, but
sea steamer.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at some point there was. We
maybe
don't know. It's probably down at the bottom of the
kind of thing.
Maybe it's the bottom of the ocean under all that other crap that's down there. All this dead crap.
Oh, the PS5s are leaking out.
Could you just imagine how much dead crap is down there?
Oh, yeah.
Everything's dead down there.
Yes. There's probably something that like it's
loves eating
feeding off of that.
Oh yeah.
Some weird looking thing with like no eyes.
When we talk about a whale, a blue whale, when that thing dies, it goes down.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean that's not the way the planet works. Like when stuff dies,
well, don't they explode sometimes? Whales because the gas.
Yeah, but that's if it dies on the ocean or dies on the beach. If it just dies in the middle of the ocean, it just sinks down, right?
Well, I saw one where like it's in the water and it exploded.
Well, I mean, if it's like again, that's beached. Like if it's just in the middle of the ocean.
No, like it wasn't beach. It was just like floating. I don't know how it didn't sink. That's weird.
Oh, the gas.
Yeah.
And then explodes and goes down.
Yeah. Then it goes down. Yeah.
But I guess that's the way the planet works. You have predators. You have like, whenever roadkill, it's going to get eaten eventually by bugs and maggots. And that's the planet's like that.
Death.
Yeah.
It's all coming for us.
Well, Jordan, thank you for being here.
Chris.
Thank you for being a part of this Summer of Sea Monsters.
The kickoff.
The inaugural.
You're good. Inaugural, yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Inaugural episode.
Inaugural
episode of the Summer of Sea Monsters. Thank you for being here, everybody. If you want to help us out, please go down, hit that subscribe, follow us, whatever you can do. Go to social media.
Comment.
All of our links are in the show notes. All of our research is on the show notes as well. All of our data. If you would like to help us out again, follow us on social media, tell your friends, tell your enemies, listen again, send us an email if you have ideas, have questions, or have ideas for future episodes. If you want to connect and don't really want to look in the show notes, just go to mysteriousPals.com. It's mysteriousPals.com. That is mysteriospals.com. And thank you for being here. Jordan, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Chris. Glad to be here.
I hope you have a great week. We will see you next week, the rest of you. Here, we won't see you because you'll be seeing us. We can't see you. Maybe that's what's going to happen on your ears. You can see who's watching you. Sounds like a terrible thing.
That'd be terrifying. Maybe next week will be part 2 of the sea creature summertime event.
Summertime. Like Shark Week, but
yeah.
not as good, I guess. Anyway, they still do Shark Week?
Yeah, it's been going on. I think so.
I thought Discovery just has like terrible reality shows about dresses and
yachts
stuff.
And yacht life. Is that the?
I don't know. It don't matter. We'll see you next time. Same mysterious time. Same mysterious place. Same mysterious cereal. Stay mysterious, pals.
That'll be the name of our cereal. Mysterial.
Mysterial Crunch.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.